What is up, everyone? We are back for another episode of Big Things Coming. Geordie, Mel.
Hello.
How you been?
Very well.
You alright?
Over the moon.
I'm still yet to get a haircut. I got this mop thing going on.
You're rocking it.
It's a new. It's a good. Yeah, it's good.
Nah.
Come on now.
Who we got today, Geordie?
Here we have the most divine, beautiful. I'm thinking of adjectives off the top of my head.
Amazing.
I don't even know if that's a word, but it's okay because we have the journalistic integrity of the one and only Miss Stephanie Jewell.
Hey, Stephanie. How are you?
Hey guys.
Hello.
Hello.
So good to have you here.
Thank you for having me. By
How
the
are
way.
you?
Hi,
Thanks for being
everybody.
here.
I'm good.
That's
so good,
good.
to be here.
So,
vibe.
how's your weekend going?
Well, I went to the Live and Lookout Incubus festival.
so
yesterday.
jealous.
It was
Yeah.
so good.
I love Incubus,
Phenomenal.
man.
Same.
yeah.
That was at, was it Hillary's?
Yeah, Whitford Notes Park at Hillary's, and it was just such a great venue in terms of like location, but also the way that it was laid out. With
Yeah.
food trucks on the left, stage on the right, bar at the back, toilets in the far corner.
so it's
It was
organised.
Really
Yep.
structured really well from like a layout point
That's
of view.
different.
Um,
I know,
right?
And what was the vibe like?
So-
to me, that sort of music carries a vibe, you know, and like
definitely.
peace
So,
and
yeah, absolutely. So there was Super Jesus, Birds of Tokyo, Eskimo Joe,
Yeah.
Incubus, and Live.
I am
So such
fucking
a killer
spewing on this.
lineup. And the vibe, I'd say it was pretty much more people around my age, so sort of like 30 to 50-year-olds, roughly, sort of the kind of age range that sort of grew up listening to that music
Yeah,
in the 90s,
exactly.
early
Yeah.
2000s. And oh my God, all the bands just absolutely killed it.
Yeah.
And they were so phenomenal. And I was just so stoked to be there and
Yeah.
so grateful to the bands and the organisers for allowing me to come along and review the gig as well.
Oh,
and to
so
the Rock Pit
you've
as well.
reviewed it too?
Yeah, so
Oh,
I'm writing
man.
a review for the Rockpit. I haven't quite finished the review yet because it was only last night, but that'll be out very shortly as well.
Oh, I can't wait.
I'd
Wow.
be like just so immersed and engrossed in it that I'd be like, yeah, and then think, fuck, I'm actually not absorbing it all. I need to actually write about this. Like,
Do you actually experience that where like Mel just said, like you're so captivated by like, I need to note this down on, oh, they did this, I did that. Do you find you're not actually enjoying it because you're working, or is it part of the job description, you know, like
I guess I was really worried about that when I first started doing the reviews for Rockpit and also for Serial, but I found that, you know, I'll just be bopping on to music and like writing my little notes. I'm like, oh, they did this. Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And like, you know,
Yeah.
just it's amazing how you can multitask.
yeah.
during
I
both
multitasking, I have no clue how to do it. Like I've got a one-track mind. Cassie will be talking to me at home and I was like, Did you hear me? No, what? What? Like I can't do it, man. Like,
you're just very focused.
That's right.
I'm
That's
just
okay.
very dumb.
Oh my Lord.
When I'm
Stop.
writing my actual review on my laptop, so that's just me taking notes throughout the whole thing, and I'll end up with like hectic long notes, and I've got to try and make them all make sense on my laptop the next day. When I'm writing my review, if anyone tries and talks to me, I'm like, huh, what? Like,
Yeah.
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 Like it just doesn't comprehend at all.
And you kind of
Yeah.
have to like, I mean, I would imagine, I don't know, but you relive it in your own mind
I do.
whilst you're writing it.
That's the best thing,
Yeah.
though, because I'm like, oh, that's right. I remember when Chris Isaac did this, and that was so cool.
You have it in
Yeah.
dot point form, so you can just, and then that happened. And that happened.
Yeah.
Oh, then that happened.
And then I'll call one of my friends when I'm writing a review sometimes, like, oh, hey, Patty, like, does this make sense, this chunk of text I've just written? Like, can you just tell me if this paragraph's backwards or if it's kind of cohesive? And she'll be like, it sounds fine, you idiot. What are you doing?
We should probably clarify. So you are a journalist at the Rockpit?
Yes, so I'm a music journalist for the Rockpit and also for Serial Music Magazine as well.
Awesome.
So I write for them both.
How did you get into it?
So I went through, it's a really funny story actually.
I love funny stories,
A little
Steph.
bit of
Yeah.
a roller coaster kind of journey. I went through a bit of a difficult time at the start of the year, which was kind of hectic around New Year's. And then I was just in a bit of a black hole. And so I wasn't really going anywhere. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to stay at home in my cave like a hermit and just be a hermit crab.
I know that feeling.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm
And
no stranger to it.
a few of my friends like, nah, Steph, come out to this gig, come out to that gig. Like,
Yeah.
you love music, just come out, you know, because I do love music. I'm always going to
Yeah.
gigs.
Yeah.
And then it was actually Frank and Ryan from Heritage FM. So
Oh,
shout
Frank
out,
and
dudes, we
Ryan.
love
shout out
you.
to Heritage FM 107.3. Get
Yes.
on it.
Boom, boom, boom.
And Frank and Ryan, the Rocaria guys.
I still want to get those guys on for an interview just to give them a bit of payback.
Absolutely.
You know what it's like, guys.
Yeah.
When
Fucking-lutely,
you jump
let's
on
do it.
107 for an interview and it's like it's nerve-wracking and stuff. It's like, come on to my corner,
Yeah, like
motherfucker.
you
come down
sit
here.
at our
Yeah,
table, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I was involved with 107.3 FM as treasurer for a little while there. And
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
I was hanging out with those guys a lot and became really good friends with them. And they're just the loveliest people
Yeah, they
I've
really
ever
are.
met as well.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, Jeremy Harris is doing a gig. Come along.
Yes.
I know that he was on the show recently.
was.
Yeah.
So it was really cool.
It was one of my most favourite and memorable times.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah,
so
like,
great to chat to.
falling out of a plane, your parachute fails, like,
Fuck you, Dave.
yeah,
Dave.
fuck you, Dave.
Still got beef, Dave.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I went along to his gig and ended up just getting VIP tickets. So I'm like, you know what? I feel like I need to treat myself. So I got a little VIP ticket and got like a cookie and some other little goodies and stuff.
nice.
So
Cool.
thank you very much, Jeremy Harris.
I want a
It was
cookie.
Awesome.
I got to start setting up VIP things for,
Yes, sir.
for my gigs. You know?
You're doing it wrong.
Only if they include cookies.
Oh, I was going to say, it
100%
might include a half-drunk beer can or something, you know, like VIP.
You can finish this.
Hold my beer.
But yeah, so I went along and I just had the nicest time. And it was when he was doing some videos and some new releases and things as well for his stuff that he's doing. It was just the most awesome time at Night Owl Studios.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a great venue, great
It's
place.
so lovely.
Yeah.
I'd never been there before, but I loved it, and I thought it was really great location-wise and how it was all laid out and set
Yep.
up as well. Like, I'm a big layout girl, by
Yep.
the way.
I got that
I like
vibe.
the,
Makes
Yeah.
sense.
What do you think of this layout?
I really like it. It
Oh,
makes
good.
sense, you know, like the
Aesthetically
planner
pleasing.
and-
I
yeah,
love
like
how
it.
they're using the venue for multiple purposes,
Yeah.
like weddings as well, like
Yeah.
not just gigs.
Trivia
but, like,
nights.
yeah, trivia nights.
Dude, we were on the scene there. Like our ashes we did a show on the scene.
Oh, the scene, yeah.
I mean, that was a couple of years ago now, but it was literally, I was so nervous doing that because it's like there and you got cameras
Yep.
and I'm not used to cameras, you know, in your face while you're playing.
Can
Funny
relate,
that.
can
No,
relate.
they're still not my friends. But yeah, but I was so impressed by just the sound quality.
Yeah.
That was freaking stellar. The stage, it was just so professionally done.
Yeah.
And it's just
You'd
a
almost
great
think
place.
you were at the Astor or something. with
Literally,
how
right?
Well,
Yeah.
it's done.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it was amazing.
So yeah, I went along to Night Owl Studio and saw Jeremy Harris, and I bumped into Sean from the Rockpit because
Yes.
he was writing a review about
I
the
love
gig.
Sean too.
Sean Bennett.
Big,
Yeah,
big shout out, Seano.
Shout
Yeah.
out to Sean.
I just met Sean for the first time last week.
Oh
And
Did he
wow!
talk
Did
your
he change
ear
your
off?
life?
lovely guy.
Yes, he
Lovely
is one
guy.
of the-
Yeah.
Did you get a word?
True gems.
Actually, he allowed me to do a lot of talking.
Fab.
There might have been a few beers under my belt. And then I said,
Standard.
go home, Johnny. You're drunk.
Standard.
But yeah, so I just got talking to Sean at this gig,
Yeah.
and he was talking about the Rockpit and writing reviews, and I was like, oh, that sounds like something I'd like to do
Yeah.
sometime. Because
Yeah.
I'm always at gigs. Like, it's not a week that goes
Yeah.
by that I'm not at a gig. And I was like, oh, that sounds really interesting. Like, I'd love to give that a go sometime. And he just kind of like jumped on that. I was like, oh, you'd love to give that a
Yeah.
go?
Would
Give
you
me the
now?
details.
Yes.
Let's
Yes.
talk. I'll give you a call tomorrow. We'll have a chat. And I'm like, okay. Not really
Yep.
realizing what I was getting myself into. And then he gave me a ring the next day, and like Nick sent me an email. Hey, would you like to review these gigs?
Yes.
And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, but okay.
Yeah, I met Nick too. She's lovely.
Oh,
yeah.
the loveliest.
They made me the best chicken wings, man.
I'm going to
I'm
ask
serious.
for chicken wings next time I see them.
Ask,
It's like,
ask for the caramel sauce, all right? That's
Oh.
all I'm saying.
On chicken
all right?
wings?
Yes.
Okay.
Sean, Nick, I'm still dreaming about those chicken wings, all right?
I'm gonna start
my
drooling.
God.
Come on.
It's amazing.
Yeah, so that's kind of how I got into it. And my first ever gig I'd ever reviewed was Ash Grunwald at the Milk Bar. And I was just so blown away. Like, I love bluesy music and rock as well. And the amount of like soul and passion and heart that he puts into his music, I was just like, wow.
Yeah.
So that was a really easy, that review pretty much wrote itself. So I think that was a bit of a cheat code for a first easy review, to be honest.
Okay.
Excellent.
Like, do you get gigs that are like difficult to write about? Like you don't know how it made you feel, or maybe you were expecting something a bit more wow, but you know.
Like, what if it just really sucked?
Yeah, like bad
Like, what if-
reviews.
like
you know?
literally, like, are you always on
Yeah.
the side of the artist to promote them in a positive light, or are you literally, I'm just going to tell the truth from my
Oh, look,
perspective?
for me, I think integrity is so important that I just want to tell it from my perspective.
Yep.
And if something's awesome, it's awesome. Or if it's not awesome, it's not
Yep.
awesome. And I'll be honest about
Yep.
that.
100%.
Thankfully, though, like, I've not really been to any gigs where it's been not awesome, thankfully, because I think that that'd be really heartbreaking
Yet.
to write about.
Yeah,
Yeah, you've
Oh,
still
well.
got my
Oh,
gig
well.
to come to. Yeah.
But you
May
can write it
11th,
constructively,
Calamine.
right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. I wouldn't say they suck or anything like that. I'd probably
You're
just
very
be
nice.
like, look, it was a really challenging night or something like that.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
like
yeah.
I'd phrase it in a way that was honest about the challenges that were difficult to overcome or whatever happened. But thankfully, I haven't had to do that yet.
Yeah,
And are you chatting with the artists at all? Do you get a...
Well, yesterday I actually got to talk to Sarah McLeod and Murray from Super G.
She's a dude.
Nice.
She's a dude. She's like, she's so beautiful.
lovely, yeah. She's like, hi, I'm Sarah.
Oh, like I didn't know that.
I'm like, oh my God, I've been such a huge fan for like 10 years and
Yeah.
little fangirl moment. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I still crank their song Gravity.
I
love
it's
it. I
wicked.
love it.
I've heard that's a song that made me fall in love with Super G's,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah.
And it was so lovely last night getting to be like, oh my God, Sarah, Gravity 10 years ago
Yeah,
blew
yeah.
my mind, and I've loved you guys
And
ever
it still does for me today. Like I remember I was playing it on acoustic. I was like, hang on, this riff sounds familiar. And
Yeah.
then I realized, oh, it's actually Gravity. So
Yeah.
since. Playing Gravity.
and I was like, yeah, I know how their chord progression goes now. It's like, yeah. But I love it. Yeah.
And then, so basically through reviewing and like, meeting photographers that do the reviews, like, well, they don't do the reviews, but they take the photos for the music magazines and stuff. I also have had the wonderful opportunity to work for Serial as well. So doing reviews for Serial Music Magazine. So shout out to Keith and Adrian and Karis.
Shout out.
And everyone at Serial.
So they don't feel like there's a bit of like conflict of interest there with one mag and the other mag? Or?
Well, everyone's kind of freelance, right?
Okay.
So, and quite often they're reviewing the same gigs anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not reviewing for them both at the same time. So they'll have other reviewers, or Rockpit will have other reviewers or other photographers and stuff. So I think everyone thinks of it more like one big family, rather than like
I love that.
them and us divided kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like
That's
it's
awesome.
It's more like everyone's so supportive in that space, and that's one thing that I've really absolutely loved, and it's been really wholesome as well. It's just how supportive everyone is of each other, regardless of who they work for as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's really nice.
So like, forget the competition. You're all there to do the same job essentially, and just love each other.
Yeah,
get
and
it
they're
done.
all building
Get
each
it
other
done.
up as well.
Yeah.
Like, oh, hey, I saw your photos from this hit.
Yeah.
It was so
Yep.
awesome, da-da-da. Or like, hey, I saw your review. It was so good. Like, I loved how you wrote this and described it this way, or da-da-da. Like, it's so, it's really nice, and I like that.
Oh,
I
that's
mean,
so good.
Precious.
Do you have a background in writing? Is it like that sort of...
Nah.
Really?
No, funnily enough. So falling into doing this music journalist stuff for Rockpit and Serial, it's definitely something different. I did film and television years ago and worked on a whole heap of productions and got really into script writing at the time. That was when I was a teenager, like 18, 19, 20. A long time ago now. But nothing about writing per se. Like, I'm doing my law degree at the moment. There's a lot of writing in that, but it's very different writing.
Yeah, yeah.
Not
Bet.
like writing about legislation compared to writing about an experience that you guys had is so different.
Snooze
Oh, legislation is so interesting. But
Oh
that's
my
probably
gosh.
why I'm the law student. So it's okay. I won't bore you with all of that.
Maybe you could get into the law aspect of music.
I mean,
Damn.
I've thought about that, especially with a lot of festivals cancelling at the moment, all of that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, but in terms of festivals, the Lookout Festival is one of the most best run I've ever seen. So shout out to Lookout. But yeah, there are a lot of festivals cancelling. So I guess looking at it from like a kind of contract law perspective of, what happens to the artists firstly, and then the vendors who have also organised all their products and things and had it all shipped over, and so there is something there. But I've also got to be careful because I really like writing music reviews,
Yeah.
and the promoters often work for the bigger
Oh yeah, of course.
sort of thing. So,
bet.
and I don't know all the background stuff about what happens with all the festival stuff either. So hopefully there's contracts that just look after everyone and everyone isn't too
Like
out
a
of pocket
blanket.
or anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, so being a journalist, as you're going to say you were at the big Incubus live show, what was the setup like? Was you straight up in the crowd, or do you get to go to the side?
Oh, so what's the...
For a
what's the
journalist,
go?
Yeah,
do
yeah.
you get
Yeah.
to your own special place to review and all?
No, nothing. I'm just one of everyone else.
In the crowd with
basically.
your phone.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
at
That could be like so like it could put you at a disadvantage when you're writing, because if you got like a shitty spot and you're up the back and the sound was fucked and you
Yeah.
can't see and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see
That's
what
like
you
if you
mean.
have like a
Case,
spot
yeah.
to stay where you can see the band, hear the band
Absolutely.
perfectly.
There's definitely been a gig that I've been to where it's just been so packed and the crowd is just so dense and everyone's taller than me. Like take indie bar where the roof's a lot lower.
Right. I feel your pain there,
I'm not the
Steph.
tallest
Like,
person,
I'm like 4 foot fuck all, you know. So
5'6.5", the half matters.
I'll chuck you on my shoulders,
Does.
all right?
Perfect.
Yeah,
Done. Let's do it. But so I was at the indie bar reviewing the Vans, and there's
Vans,
a lot
yeah.
of tall people in that crowd, and I'm not
Yep.
the tallest person, so it was quite hard to sort of see between the heads.
Yeah.
And the crowd was just so densely packed that there was no way you could even like make your way to the bar or the bathroom or
Right.
anything. You were just stuck in your spot.
Yep.
So I'm just there like trying to write my notes and hoping no one knocks my phone out my hand because there's no way I've got the space to bend down and get it if that happens.
Right.
But I ended up sort of like squished next to the sound desk, which turned out to be the best spot because I was having a chat to the sound guy throughout the night. And he's just the loveliest person. And then at the end of the night, he's like, oh, did you need the set list for your review? And goes and gets me the set list.
Oh, I love that.
Oh my God, thank you so much.
Yeah, that's
So,
cool.
But
That's
they
cool.
were just so cool and so lovely. And they're
Well,
doing a regional tour.
Because then, like, using the set list as well, you can use that as like a bookmark, you know, for yourself. It's like, oh yeah, I remember when they played this song and this happened, you know, and like, and then he fell over or something, you know, like.
I definitely do that too.
Yeah.
So as I'm writing my notes, I'll be like, oh, this song's called this, and then I'll write my notes under it, and then this song's called this, and I'll write my notes under
Yeah.
it. So if I know the names of the songs beforehand, it's awesome. But
Yeah.
quite often I'm just writing like a chunk of lyrics, and I'm just like
Yeah.
trying to find it later and be like, oh, what was that song called? Oh, that's this one. Cool. Okay, so I sort of know where I am amongst it. But also, I'll go through a set list and then like just listen to those tracks in that order and just kind of like relive the night.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
just so nice. And
Awesome.
Yeah.
yeah, music is life, yo.
Yes.
Yeah. I was
You-
going to ask. Sorry, Johnny.
No, after you, bro.
You guys are so polite.
Sorry, my friend. Thank you.
Please continue.
Who closed the night out? I want to know because Incubus in live is such big.
My
artists.
guess would be live.
Yeah,
It
live.
makes sense. Was it with the original singer?
I think so.
It'd have
I
to
don't
be.
know too much about the band per se, but
I knew they. Sorry, I knew for a while they toured without him,
Without Ed?
without lightning flashes
No.
to the floor.
Oh my gosh, I've seen them before, and he was brutally spectacular as a
Wow.
front man. Man, it blew me away.
that
Okay.
honestly sounds like how last night was. I don't know the names of the people because
Yep.
I'm not the most familiar with live
That's
in terms of I only know their music. I don't know.
Was that your
much
first
about
time
the band.
seeing them live?
Absolutely, it was. Oh, I heard
There's
that.
another point.
Ah, come
Yeah.
on. That was lame.
It was an easy one. Okay, let me have it.
But
All right,
Incubus
go on.
were just so animated and energetic and dynamic in terms of like moving around on stage and really had that stage presence. And I was just so impressed. I was like, where does he get the energy?
Yeah.
But
And he's not like a
phenomenal.
spring chicken anymore. Let's be real about it.
No one is a spring chicken anymore. At
No.
all.
No.
Like even the Birds of Tokyo guys are in their 30s and 40s now as well.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
knees and
true.
backs are cracking and all that. So.
Don't remind me. Oh, you wake up in the morning, it's like, oh, that's a new pain I've never experienced. Oh,
That was
gee.
my head this morning.
like I was talking to the drummer from Birds of Tokyo yesterday. And
I was
was
just
like,
casually having a chat with him.
You know.
oh yeah, I
As you
just
do.
saw him walking after a set, and I'm like, oh, wicked set! Like, oh, it was just so sympathetic. It was just so good. Like, both my brothers are drummers, so I've
Yeah.
grown up with it. And I was like, oh, I just really appreciate it. Like, I know sort of tucked in the back corner there, but I thought you were just so phenomenal. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you just looked awesome up there. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. And da da da.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then Sean was like, oh, this is Stephanie. She's going to review you guys. And he was like, oh, wicked. And then he was just talking about how back in the day he used to send in CDs, like Birds of Tokyo used to send in their CDs, physical CDs, and they spent so much on postage and whatnot
Yep.
to get them to all these magazines to review. And Sean remembers those days, obviously. I wasn't
Yep.
around then. But it was just such a spun out thing because he was like, yeah, reviewers, you know, like they're gold because we rely on those reviews to promote our stuff. Like, here's what other people have said about
Yeah.
it. And I was like, oh my God, like I didn't know that it was such a,
It is such a valuable
but-
thing for a band
Absolutely.
or artist. Like I know, like Rockpit have done some reviews for us, and
Yep.
it's thank God they've been nice. But yeah, it's definitely it is so valuable because you
Yeah.
have way more. Well, I think you probably have way more readers reading that, and than I would have listened to my band. So when they promote my band, it's just like, oh my God, thank you so
Yeah.
much. You know, we're
it's,
very
it's
appreciative.
one thing hearing a compliment from someone, you know, that's listening to your music and you're forever grateful. But then when there's like a big
living
brand,
document.
yeah,
Yeah.
someone that
Written
actually
down in stone carved
Yeah.
into the
goes into detail about it. I think that's so much more heartwarming. You know,
It's like physical
yeah,
validation.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, I
Um,
definitely put all my heart and soul into all of my reviews. Like, I'm someone that's like, all of Steph, here you go.
I feel like you wear your heart on your sleeve, Steph. So I'd
Definitely,
imagine
yeah.
that you would be
Yeah.
writing from that sort of place. Yeah.
I think that is what you need to cherish the most, especially someone being so vitally honest. If is that the right word? Like, just about it, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah.
I can
Good
get
on you.
the same feeling even like on Triple J Unearthed. Just random people being like, "Song's sick."
Yeah.
Just seeing that, you're like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, dude,
You're like, yes.
you get it, man."
I'm not a fan of the scoring system on Triple J. I know.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like that. When you're rating a song out of 5 stars, and don't get me wrong, like I'm grateful of people's reviews. That's where it's at,
Yeah.
you know. But when you can see they score it like, oh, it was a 2.5 out of 5.
Yeah, I know.
But
That's
but then they don't tell you where it could have improved. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, so that's
but
not
again,
bad.
it's their opinion.
But that's
Yeah,
why
yeah.
But people
reviewers,
are swayed by it though.
Yeah.
reviewers are much more in depth.
Yeah.
I'll tell
Absolutely.
you why I don't like something. Absolutely. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll say, oh, this had a bit of a downturn, but then it picked up over here. Like, compliment sandwich, you know?
Yes.
You
Yeah.
can't
Yep.
just give someone, I didn't like this because of, or like, you can't just say you didn't like something. If you're
Yep.
going to say something or have an opinion, at least justify why
Yeah.
you
Yep.
feel that way. Like, it's
It-
okay to feel that
You,
way.
you can
whatever
love them
way.
with one hand and then bitch slap them with the other one.
This is true.
I mean, but yeah, like I don't know. Thankfully, everyone, all the musicians and artists I've seen so far have been so lovely in terms of like, I've just loved every second of it.
Yep.
There's been a band that they had an opener who was a lot different to what I was expecting. It was just one person on stage. Normally they have a band, but it was just one of them on stage with a guitar doing a thing. But while it wasn't quite what I was expecting a bit more rockier kind of indie alternative.
Yep.
I was still blown away by how nice it was, and you could hear a pin drop in this crowd.
Right.
Like it was, everyone was just hanging on to every word. So shout out to Juice Webster, your music's amazing.
Juice Webster.
Yeah, Shaping for the Beths, and the Beths are a lot more like rocky indie kind of. They're from New Zealand. They're just really cool, you know.
Okay.
So I was sort of expecting that vibe from the opener as well, but then
And
yeah,
she's local?
I don't know if she's local or not. I didn't quite catch that.
Okay.
But
Okay.
she was so lovely in terms of like hanging out at the back and talking to anyone that wanted to have a chat to her.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like, you know, artists that hang around and talk to their fans are just
100%.
diamonds in the rough,
Yep.
because there's been times that I've just wanted to like go up to an artist, but oh, thank you so much for letting me review your
Yeah.
gig. I really appreciate it. I really enjoyed tonight. Just to say thank you, because I know that I'm there like on behalf of the Rockpit, and that's been organised through the PR of the band or
Yeah.
whatever. But I'm just so grateful to be there, like having the chance to do what I do, and you know,
I think it's really important to embrace conversation with people, you know, especially like I get it at times like with people, like for me, I don't really talk to people before my gig or shows because I'm freaking nervous.
You're
like,
in
people
the
don't-
zone, yeah,
people actually
yeah.
don't think that I get nervous. It's like, please, come on, man. You know,
you look so confident on stage. I would
oh,
never
it's
get
all a big act. But like I've done a show, and I'm not going to mention any names about who it is, but I did a, well, actually I better not say that because I'll give it away. But I did a show and
it.
no,
Do it.
I'm not. And I was really nervous to play with this other band because they're quite well known, and they were the biggest fucking snobs.
Wow.
Like I was in the band room with them, and I
Yeah.
was like, they were just looking at me like I shouldn't have belonged there. They didn't speak to me. I introduced myself. It was a very quick hi, blah blah. And
Oh,
I'm
that's a
like,
shame.
what the fuck is wrong with you? Like I had
Yeah.
like so much attitude toward them. Like I
Yeah.
didn't have it at them, but afterward.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's so disappointing because
Yeah.
they're so well known.
Yeah.
They're not well known because of their niceness and
Yeah.
like nice attitude.
I've actually had that as well. Not when I've been reviewing a band, but when I've been going to see an international touring band.
Yep.
Not going to name names. And I've, you know, seen them just milling at the bar, getting a drink or something. And I'm like, oh, hey, like, you know, wicked gig, da-da-da, really enjoyed it. And they've been like, oh, thanks, and like just turned away.
Oh, jeez.
And I've had like a vital
I would have been
hand
like,
and
psych, just kidding, you sucked.
I'm like, all right, throw that in the bin. Like,
I'll do you guys one better. We're just spilling out the tea without actually spilling the tea. So my guitarist in my band, he was at a show the other day at Amps, and it was a metal night. And then after the metal bands, the set had been played through, there was just a cover band jumped up. And my boy is like us, you know, when the band plays, he'll come up, he's like, yo, really love that. He'll really talk to the band, stuff like that. And he went to do that. This is just a local cover band. You know, no one big in the scene, but he went up and he went to walk up to the lead vocalist, a female, and said, "Oh, really good show." And she said, "Get the fuck off the stage." And he was just like,
Was he on the stage?
like he just
Went on the stage.
like, you know, the little
Yeah, like lean on the stage.
he like the little corner on the side where you can step up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he stopped and just like, "Yo, giving a shout out."
Oh my
And
goodness.
that was her reply, and he was like, "All right then."
One
Well,
of the things I've
now-
really...
That's not cool. I'm just
Now,
saying.
I get it from both sides.
Hang on, but they'd finish the set, right?
Yeah.
They'd finish.
I
It's not
wouldn't
like
do
they
it
were,
beforehand.
it's not like they were
fan.
playing.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it beforehand.
Where's your
or
fucking
while they're
gratitude?
playing.
There's a guy staying to the end of your fucking set, bro. Be nice.
He said the room was pretty much nearly empty too.
Yeah.
And he watched it to the end, and
That's
then
a
that's
bit
her.
cringe.
What's the word I'm looking for?
Rude.
Disappointing?
Yeah, like no, you've got to
Humble.
remain humble.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
I say this all the time. Like I might be having a shit day, or I might be, carrying yesterday's attitude that I haven't shrugged off or whatever. But if someone come up to me and even if they got on stage, I'd still embrace that person with happiness.
Yeah.
And, I don't want to shun anyone away because I had a shit day or a shit gig.
It's not their problem that you had a shit day.
And look,
Oh
you know
my
what I mean?
goodness, if somebody come up to me and said, "Oh, I hated this review, it was shit," I'd just be so stoked that they read my review. I'm like, "Oh my God, you read my review? Like,
Thank you for your
Thank you
opinion.
so much.
I'll take it on. Like, it's fine.
Hopefully
Yes.
they don't. That's never happened, but mostly it's people that, "Oh my God, I read your review about this, it was wicked." And I'm like, "Phew, okay, thank you, that's cool."
Excellent.
But I'd just be so stoked if anyone reads any of my reviews full stop.
I'm gonna check it out.
So, yeah.
And I don't read a lot, so I'm gonna go out of my way. So I hope
Well-
you can
and
appreciate
that's
that.
for
I do
everyone at home
appreciate
as
it,
well.
thank you.
Follow the Rockpit.
Yeah.
Follow Serial Music Magazine. Did I say it correctly? Yep.
What's this
And
new
start with-
question?
I did have a question, but I forgot.
Oh.
So I told you goldfish memory.
I was going to say, seeing with your shirt, Silent Night, that's a pretty obscure OG band. So I'm guessing that you have quite an eclectic taste.
I do, yeah. So I'd say definitely a lot of metal, a lot of rock. I've recently gotten into blues about the last couple of years. Well, I've always loved blues. I've just never known that's what it's called. I'm like, "Oh, that's guitar, that's really cool." Like, kind of, I'm
You're
all
so
Burnside-ish.
Well, Johnny is bringing in this new question that we bring.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So this morning we decided we would start this thing called What's on Repeat,
Okay.
and we're asking all our guests from now on, what's on repeat? What is in your ear right now? Your favorite song? It could be someone
I
local.
know what it is.
Could be someone international.
Can we say it at the same time? Because I can read your mind.
Sleep Token.
There it is.
That's me too, by the way.
Oh, I love Sleep Token.
So
so
talk to
much.
us. Why Sleep Token? And
Oh, why,
Yeah.
Why not?
yeah, I knew that was coming.
Look,
How
I
could
don't-
you not?
Yeah.
I don't know what subliminal messaging they're putting underneath their music to make
Yeah.
people listen to them, but I just cannot stop listening to
Yeah.
them. Like, every song just hits me in a different way
Yeah.
every time I listen to them, and
Yeah.
it just
Yeah.
gets me right at the core, and I'm like, oh.
Guys,
When did you first hear of them?
Hang on.
After they came to Perth.
Oh, true.
Recently.
Sorry. What's happening?
I am Vessel. Sorry, guys.
I'm so sorry, bro. You are so not.
I appreciate that.
I first heard of
One
Sleep
less
Token.
point to Jordan.
Take two off of that. Jeez.
I thought it was funny. It was. He's got the okay.
No, it's not. I first heard of Sleep Token when about four years ago now. So I was listening to them, and none of my mates knew who they were, and I was like, every person, because I'm like a shover, like a drug dealer with music. Listen to this. Listen
I
to this.
feel
Listen to
that.
this.
I
Listen to
relate.
this. Listen
Yeah,
to this.
100%.
And I would like spam people like, have you listened to this song yet?
Yeah,
Have
yeah.
you listened to it? Here's the link. Have you listened to this? And they're like, fuck off already, Mel. But then all of a sudden, they blew the fuck up.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I told you,
Yeah.
motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Like, I told you.
You've been sleeping. You've been sleeping.
On the
Not
Sleep Token.
joking.
Yeah,
I've
sleeping
seen
on
them-
Sleep
I've
Token.
seen them twice now.
I'm disappointed I only found out about them the day after they'd been to Perth, only because one of my friends like, "Oh my God, Steph, did you see Sleep Token last night?" I'm like, "Who?" And
Oh.
he's like, "Listen to this."
Did you
And I'm
review them?
like, no, I wish. I got into reviewing actually really recently, only at the very end of February.
Right.
Yeah,
Yep.
February 29th actually.
Yep.
So leap year.
Oh,
Maybe
well,
you can see them
That's special. That is actually special.
on the leap year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey. Oh, cool.
Yeah,
That is
so
brilliant.
I didn't see Sleep Token.
So you can only celebrate your anniversary of being a
Of
music
being a-
journalist every 4 years.
That's it.
But hopefully, when they come back,
Yeah.
They
Oh
were
my God,
in
I know.
Australia now.
Yeah,
Right
but
they're
they
touring
didn't come
for-
to Perth, and I
Yeah, Bring Me the
cried.
Horizon. Yeah.
cried,
Yeah.
cried.
Oh, of
And I was
course,
just
Bring Me the
like,
Horizon.
But Bring Me the Horizon, huge.
And they've only got a
Yeah.
half an hour set with Bring Me the Horizon
Oh,
as well.
please.
So
Really?
that is totally not enough time for Sleep Token. They
No,
need
no,
like
no.
3 hours at least. So.
I saw them do a half, or maybe even 25-minute set with North Lane.
Wow.
And I was like, I went there just for Sleep Token.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, can't back.
6 songs? No, this isn't enough.
Oh
I
man,
need
it broke my
more.
heart. But then I saw them in their full set, and
It's like it
was
took you
so
25 minutes to line up and get a drink, and then you turn
It took
around.
me a fucking
They're gone?
hour to drive to Fremantle. You know?
My boys, Fraser, Will, and Abraham went over to Melbourne to see
Oh,
them.
fab.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
wanted
gosh.
to, but broke uni student couldn't.
Yeah,
so,
no, I totally get
yeah.
it.
Well, I've got some noodles here. You can have,
Thank you.
Steph.
I'll try those. They might disappear when I leave. I'm not going to lie. That's lunch today.
That's your token of gratitude. Back
Just
the way.
quickly, I wanted to ask these guys, what have you got on repeat? Quickly, bang.
Boom.
Come on.
Go.
Don't think, just do.
So you're gonna ask the question, but you
too late.
don't have
No,
an answer.
it's still focal parallax.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I got a variety of tunes, but I'm really loving. Did anyone catch Royal Otis? They did
No.
a cover of
I wanted to.
Linger
Oh.
by Cranberries on Sirius
Did you have
FX.
to let
Yeah.
it linger?
I can't stop listening to it. It's amazing.
Like, your cousin JP,
Yeah.
right? He's my best friend, and I can't listen to that song the same anymore because he goes, "Bro, you know she's talking about a fart, right?"
Oh my god!
I've always thought that.
How you gotta do this, Johnny?
Is it a fart? Is it lingering fart? I've
But-
always wondered that.
Honestly, check out that cover because it is.
Do you want to
Exceptional.
pull my finger?
Anyway,
I'm sitting between these two, like, well.
thank you so much, Steph.
Steph, that's all the time we've got for you today, and I'm sorry
You're a doll. Thank
to
you
leave
so
you
much. Check her
lingering.
out.
No,
Yeah.
thank you so much for having me. I've greatly enjoyed this.
It's
and
so good to
happy be
have
here.
someone like a journalist on. You know, it's different. It's someone that appreciates music as much as we love putting it out.
Yeah. And
So,
just in a different capacity,
yeah.
right? So
It gives me a whole new appreciation for music.
Absolutely.
For what I'm doing.
Do you
Yeah.
have many gigs in the future that you can
In
say?
the pipeline.
Yeah, I've got so many coming up.
Yeah?
I've got stumps coming, models. I've got Steven Sanchez on Tuesday. I'm taking my mum because she's a huge fan.
nice.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, I'm doing Jet and Luca Brasi in May. That's around
Oh,
my
wicked.
birthday.
And-
Iron
and,
Maiden at the end of the year.
And you've also got Colour Mine coming
And
up
you
as
may
well.
have a new album sometime to review of
Yes.
a band.
Yeah, May 11th. I'm really excited. I'm reviewing Colour Mine, this guy right here.
There it is.
I wasn't going to say it to the end. I'll
It's
say
all
the
right,
best
Steph.
for last. but-
I'll sling you that 50 after the show, all right?
But that's very
Have another
cool.
lolly.
So everyone who are going to those shows can see Steph. and say
Absolutely.
hello.
Feel free to come up and say hi. I love chatting.
Yeah.
Probably
Awesome.
too much, but
And
you know.
so when people want to read your work, they go to the Rockpit
Yeah,
serial
so-
music magazine.
Absolutely. So you can find the Rockpit at therockpit.net.
Yep.
And if you wanted to read my review specifically, just go Rockpit Stephanie Jewell on Google and it'll come up.
There you go.
Or find it on
I reckon
Rockpit.
Peter would have just put that on the screen just there
I just
for you.
loaded it up. don't
And-
worry.
Yeah.
What's going on next to me?
And you can find my reviews for Serial as well at Serial Music Magazine on Facebook.
Oh, fantastic.
Awesome.
And also check out the socials, Instagram for,
Yep.
for both Serial and Rockpit, and also the Facebooks as well.
Beautiful.
Thank you so
Stephanie,
much.
it's been
Steph.
such
You've
a
been
pleasure
so
having you on.
awesome.
Thank you.
Oh,
It's been a pleasure.
Shout out to the
Shout
man.
out.
Mustang Print, thank you so much for being our official sponsor, and also to the guys here at the Hen House Rehearsal Studios
We
in
love
Osborne
you.
Park.
Thank you.
And also, you know what? A big shout out to Mr. Peter Renzullo's
Yes,
Scudley
Pete.
Films. Thank you, Peter.
We love you, Pete.
You've earned yourself a lolly, mate.
Very claps. Very claps.
Jardel, Fiona,
Nice
love you
having you.
guys.
Steph, thank you.
Yes.
See you later, Steph.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.